We just want to have Ian come. We're so excited that he's here to share with us today. Let's give him a big hand. I love this guy, and he's going to bring the word to us today.
What's up, y'all? Oh, yeah. Kids, you can be dismissed. Hey, Shane, can you hold this for a second?
I got you. Wait, you need all these things? Cool.
Thanks. Don't worry about that. Technical difficulties. Don't pretend you don't see any of this stuff yet. It's not there. Okay. All right. So I'm kind of feeling like some of y'all might be asleep. So we're going to read some elephant jokes. Like, this isn't part of the notes, but I love elephant jokes, so I'm going to read you some. How do you get 2 elephants out of the water? One by one. Why do elephants wear shoes with yellow soles? You don't know? So you don't see them when they float upside down in a bowl of custard. Have you ever seen an elephant floating upside down in a bowl of custard? No, of course not. Why do elephants live in herds? To get a wholesale reduction on the shoes with yellow soles. Are y'all feeling this? How do you shoot a blue elephant? With a blue elephant gun, of course. How do you shoot a yellow elephant? Nobody's ever seen a yellow elephant. All right, that's something stupid, but. All right, so I just wanted to, first off, my mother-in-law and Jesse, they're in Kansas visiting family, and I just want to say hi. They're watching on the internet, and happy birthday, Felicia. Today is her birthday, so woo! Anyway, guys, thank you so much for the opportunity to hang out and be a part of DFC, and thank you for the opportunity to speak this message. I believe that this message is from you. I believe that this message is for the people here and for me, God. Lord, I just thank you so much, and I hope that whatever I say would be your words, not my own, that I would be a clean vessel for you to speak through, and in Jesus' name, amen. All right, so, man, guys, y'all still asleep. So, time is one of our biggest assets. We're forced to spend it. We'll never get it back. We can either waste it or invest it. Tomorrow is never guaranteed, so are we spending our time wisely? When we don't live an intentional life by default, we're accepting a watered-down life. Apathy is only a disease realized at the end of our lives. But, so many years pass you, and then you kind of look back and go, man, what have I done really with my life? We can be good people, but if we can't master our atmosphere by default, we choose a lesser version of ourselves. Not only that, but we rob those around us of who you are meant to be. Some of the hardest regrets that we deal with isn't what we did, but it's what we didn't do. I have a picture I want to post. Speaking of elephants. So, I don't know if you guys noticed, but ever since Jesse and I got back, we've tried really hard to stay active and stay in shape and stuff. So we got the great idea to get on Craigslist and try to find bikes for super cheap, like road bikes, not mountain bikes. But so we get on Craigslist and we're searching. It's about graduation time, and we're thinking, oh yeah, all the graduates are gonna put up their bikes for sale. So we're getting on Craigslist, and bikes are going left and right. And it's so fast that I ended up having found a bike. I was like, all right, I'm going to come get it. Just hold it. Don't get it anywhere else. I drove all the way to Roanoke and then came all the way back and then went all the way to Charlottesville and all the way back in one day just to get this bike. It's nothing fancy. It's just an old road bike from the 80s, But I love it. It's out there. Its name is Pammy. So if you want to come see Pammy after church, you should totally do that. But it's super awesome. I've fallen in love with riding bikes. It's weird because as a kid, you ride them all the time. And then you get older, it's just something that we take for granted. So you guys should definitely ride a bike or something. But anyway, so Corey and I are trying to come up with this project where you need a bunch of bikes, and you're basically making a Frankenstein bike. So I knew that my dad in Grottoes, he had a couple bikes from my childhood and whatever. So I called him up and said, hey, can I come get these bikes? And he was like, sure. So I went over there and I started looking through all the bikes. There was some little baby ones, some old Walmart mountain bikes or whatever, not anything fancy. And then my dad had a old mountain bike that he bought years ago. And I remembered him riding it a couple times, but not a whole lot. I do remember it being semi-nice. So I pulled it out, looked at it. Of course, everything's rusted and the tires are flat. So I was just kind of looking at it. I was like, man, this is kind of a nice bike. It's pretty sweet. So I asked him, I was like, why did you buy a mountain bike like this? And he was like, well, I just wanted to go mountain biking. And I was like, man, that's so cool. It's weird that that we are thinking alike, it's kind of one of those I guess I'm my father's son sort of things. So I was like, hey, did you ever go riding? Where did you ride your mountain bike at? And he said, I never rode. I was like, you mean you bought this mountain bike and you literally put it in storage and never used it, not one time except just riding around the block? And he said, he just looked at me and he said, no. And I said, why? Why didn't you? He couldn't give me an answer. He just didn't say anything. And I was like, you mean to tell me you invested your time and money, getting a plan together and just never did it? And I'm not hating on him. It's I remember leaving, my dad's house and just calling Jesse. I was like, man, that makes me kind of sad. That people just kind of invest all this, they have a dream. They lay it all out for them and just never do it. And I don't know, that kind of hurts me. I don't know about you guys, but it's I feel a lot of us have dreams like that, where everything's laid out in front of us to go do it, but we just don't. Is there something in your life that you've always wanted to do? Always wanted to visit, always wanted to experience? Why haven't you? Can you look me in the eye and tell me a good reason why you haven't? Honest. I have this other picture. So, some people say, I got this bucket list of this and that and then that. Well, bucket lists never get done. If you rename it to a to-do list, it'll get done, and then you have to update it all the time. And actually, it gets annoying because you run out of cool stuff to do. But I thought this picture was pretty funny because it's there was a caption underneath of that that said, some items on your bucket list will actually cause you to die. but I thought this was funny because, I've never done anything like that. And maybe I wouldn't mind trying it, but it would hurt, I think. But I don't mind getting hurt. I appreciate having experiences like that. Some people I guess they wait to a point where they can't do it. And they're like, man, I should have done that. And sure, even if you're at that point now, don't be discouraged. You can get to that point where you can do those things that you've always wanted to do. So don't give up on your dreams. What I'm saying is, you're able right now. Do it. Don't wait till you have a stroll in your hands. People say age is just a number. I'd have to agree. In my opinion, the way people spend their time really determines their age. You don't believe me? I've met people from my same age, and I'm like, dude, you're so old. What happened? I still feel like I'm I'm young-ish. But I don't know, a good example is Robbie Wadner, the guitarist that plays guitar up here. I don't know how old he is. I guess he's I don't know, 38 or something like that? Yeah, so he's 38, but you would never know it because he runs marathons like a beast. Like, he's straight up, like, just cool. But there's other people that his age that is just like, dude, you look like you're 60. What's wrong with you? Or no offense to 60-year-old people. This leads me to this thought. Excessive hours in front of a TV screen, or just a screen in general, deteriorates the body, mind, and spirit. Even something as strong as iron can wither as flowers do. Sometimes it can be difficult juggling work, home, school, kids, pets, other obligations, but having free time is necessary. How we spend it is critical for our performance in all areas of our life. Obligations and responsibilities, they say what we do, but what you do with your free time says who you are. So, every person can master your free time by taking these 3 initiatives. I'll just give them to you real fast. I don't know if they have all 3 of them up there at the same time, but it's rate, create, and abbreviate. There's no R on that second half of that word. But when I was like 11 or so, I went to my Uncle Al's house. He lived in Alexandria. He worked for the CIA. He was super cool. But he has a whole military family. Like his family's like Air Force people and stuff, highly ranked. And I was just over there playing one day with his collectible airplanes. So he kind of came over and was like, "Don't play over those collectibles, but I'm going to give you a piece of advice." He was like, Can I ask you something? And I was like, "Sure." He was like, "Do you feel like you've done the best you can today?" I was like, "Sure, I guess." And he was like, "No, really. Do you feel like you've done the absolute best you can today? What about yesterday? What about the day before?" Answer honestly. If the answer is no, why? Why aren't you doing the best that you can? How would you rate your life? Don't say, I'm good, but actually look deep and see where your happiness and peace and your peace of mind lay. Yeah, there we go. So I saw this. I was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool." But in my opinion, they should have done it like 1 was the angry face and 10 was the happy face. But I guess that's cool. But I kind of feel like for the most part, like we're somewhere like 7-ish, where we're just kind of like blah. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to hate. Like, don't think I'm like coming down or whatever, being grumpy. That's not what this is about. I'm just saying, like, we come, like, we listen to like worship music, and that's the face that we make, number 7. Or, I mean, sometimes if it's getting us moving, we're about a number 5. But we should be like a number 1, like, hey. But we're not like that. I don't know why that is. Like, Jesus didn't make us to be like that. We're made to be like a number 1, at least a number 2. Like, you got to at least smile to people. How many of the 9 fruits of the Spirit do you really possess? I'll just throw them at you real quick. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, goodness, faithfulness, self-control. I mean, if you have those, I don't see anything less than a number 1. These are like the evidence of being a Christian. Like, if you know Jesus, you ain't going to be number 7. Like, if you know Jesus, like, you have like this crazy gift that like just came into your life. He straight up wiped everything away from you, and you're going to be number 7. All right, that's cool. No, like, again, I'm not trying to like be grumpy. So this wasn't meant to be like hey, y'all need to get your act together. That's not what this is. I'm like, all I'm saying is, in my opinion, if we can't master our free time, then all areas of our life suffer. If we just, I posted on Facebook, it said, well-spent free time is like the motor oil to your life engine. We spend all other time grinding to have a better life. It's clear why we are like this. It's not because we're bad people. It's just man, we spend all of our time just working so hard, and then when we're done, we're just I'm not doing a darn thing. I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna enjoy this couch, which that's cool. Enjoy your couch. All I'm saying is there's a lot better things to do than being on your couch. And if you can fill your other time that gets you going and gets you active and improves the quality of life, it's a lot easier to worship Jesus that way. When we finally get free time, it's our opportunity to be refreshed and relaxed, not resting. You have a time for that. What I'm saying is it's a time to laugh and be your best self when you're making an impact on others. Pay attention to your heart. Do you feel bored? Do you feel anxious? When I sit around long enough, my mind just freaks out. I just got to go do something. I don't know what it is. I guess I have ADD or something. I don't know what it is, but I got to go do something. Do you feel discontent? That's good. This is your heart saying, hey, I'm craving to go do something. I need to go make something. I need to go create. I need to go invest in somebody. I need to go learn something. Don't look back and say, oh yeah, back when I was in high school, I was a great football player, I was a great cheerleader. I have peers that I graduated with that are still posting their football pictures. I'm not hating on football. I'm just saying it's been 10 years, man. You look a lot different. Don't go create an alter ego and make yourself feel better and think that you're cool, because you're lying to yourself that way. As simple as this. If you're lying awake at night and asking is this all there is to life? I promise it isn't. I promise it isn't. We've barely scratched the surface. Jesus, he gives us a newness. He gives us something fresh every single day. And I believe Christians are made to be the pinnacle of society. Not because we're better than anyone, but actually, in fact, we're worse than everyone. Jesus makes us better. He gives us that glory. The glory days, that's old and gone. Don't live in those things. Don't live on old miracles. Today is a new day. Today has its own glory. Go and make something of it. We're not living in this glory for our own selves, but we're living in the glory to bring him glory. And we're also supposed to invite others to live in that glory. Again, just take the time to write your life and ask honestly, on 1 to 10, where I lay. Am I the super cheesing dude, or am I a grumpy man? And it's okay if you are grumpy. That's cool. We can change that. Jesus does all sorts of things. But let's make it a goal to hit 11. Second point is create. So my first initiative is write. Second initiative is create. And I had a conversation with Jesse in the airport I forget where we were going, but we're doing something in Peru. And I just kind of sat down. This was a dreaming stage for us. So I said, hey, Jesse, pretend you are in your kid body, you're 12 years old or something. And you're looking at yourself now. So here's you looking at yourself now. But you're not you as of now. Just think of how you could be the coolest you. What would that look like? And she said, well, I don't know. I guess maybe I would be a yoga instructor or something. I was like, a yoga instructor? Come on, man. You can do better than that. was like, yoga's cool, but you can do better than that. You're not just made for just yoga. I was like, come on, like, let's get those juices flowing. So we started thinking. She said, okay, I want to do this. Maybe make a vlog or something. And I was like, okay, that's cool. So where you're sitting right now, just think of like the coolest you. You're 12 years old looking at you, like imagining who you are. Who would you be if you were the coolest you? And then you might surprise yourself along the way. When you start reaching for those goals, you end up like this. I have a picture of Jesse. You end up something like that. It's my Instagram page. But that's Jesse up there walking next to a glacier. Like, that is way beyond a yoga instructor. Like, you have such a potential. Don't cut yourself short. Straight up dream, man. Sit down, write it out, and just think like, if I could be the coolest me, who would I be? I get that you got to work. I get you got a family. I get you got all this stuff. But I'm saying the coolest you, how would you handle all that stuff? What would you do? Would you be doing something like this, or would you just be chilling back doing something lame? What is it that you've always wanted to do? Push to that next step. What could make it unlike any other experience? So when I got back from Peru, you guys, some of you, or if you're new here, you don't know, but I play guitar. I used to play up on the worship team, and as you're starting out to play guitar, one of the dreams that you could ever play on a guitar is Jimi Hendrix Voodoo Child. You guys know that song? So, no? Yeah? Okay, so you know that song? So I was like, man, I've always wanted to learn how to play that song. That's just, if you're a guitar player, you know what I'm talking about. And, I just never did it. I just assumed that, I just couldn't do it because it was just so hard. And I was like, I'll just never even try it because it's just Jimi Hendrix he's straight up a legend. I could never even come close to even comparing with him. And then I get back from Peru, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to learn this song. So I have this video. Shouts out to Crocs. So it's not perfect, but that's kind of cool. That's just like one of those things is like, all right, I can play guitar now. So, but I'm saying is literally I spent 10 years playing guitar. Never even attempted it. I come back from Peru, I picked it up in 20 minutes. I was like, dang, man. But what I was saying is you might surprise yourself. If you reach for the goal, guess what's going to happen? You're going to way beat it. Every time I run like a 5K or something, you think oh man, 5K it's so far. So you run it and you get to the end of it, you're like, I can keep going. Like I'm in a groove, I'm in a rhythm, I can keep going. And it's like that's the way with any goal. Like you can straight up just reach for it. Once you get there, you'll just push the limits. This is why like skateboarding is so annoying, because so many people just get wicked good and you can just never even like people are stupid at skateboarding. But anyway. In addition to not burying our talents, the Bible says to multiply and expand and add layers to our talents. Don't just, you take your talents and you obviously you keep practicing and like make them better, but not only grab for those talents, but go further than that. Like grab something from left field, become like a world chess champion person or something. Or instead of just learning how to play guitar, learn how to sing and write music. Richard, this one's for you. Instead of just learning a new language, make a goal to learn other languages that are similar to it. Specialize in a particular language until you can translate it or even tutor. And that's crazy, Richard, that you said that this morning, because I wrote that in my notes, and then this morning, Richard back in the media was like, man, I just want to learn a language or something. Or like Spanish. So like God's saying, hey, yeah, you're totally supposed to do that. Not to put you on blast or anything. But set out to do something impossible, knowing that you can write a book about it. Like instead of getting to the end of it and writing a book and say, hey, look at this awesome thing, write it while on the journey so it can like display the hardship that it took for you to get to that goal. When I first became a Christian, this is cool because Jesus will just add stuff onto your life. Like, before I became a Christian, I didn't really care about education. I didn't really care about reading. I didn't care about, like, any of that. But then, like, out of all my years in school, I've read more books now than all of those years combined. And on top of that, like I don't know, I like literature and stuff. When I started journaling, I just felt like God was like, hey, you should start writing haikus. And I was like, haikus, what the heck is that? So I had to Google it and figure out what haikus were. And basically, they're just like little short poems, like really short. So I started writing haikus, and it actually was fun. And I don't know. You can draw your conclusions wherever you want. But I think God likes adding little cool stuff like that to our lives just to make us a little bit more richer. Some people say that I'm a guy of many talents. Honestly, I'm nothing special. I just get bored really easily. And I learned how to make use of the time that I have. Adding these layers not only enriches your life, but it gives you an opportunity to be involved in new circles. And what do you do in those new circles? Guess what? You spread Jesus. This means meeting new people and sharing everything that you have to possess. And I'm not talking about your dashing looks either. I'm talking about sharing that gospel, you know. So that brings me to my third initiative, abbreviate. Practically speaking, I know making time isn't always easy. And I chose the word abbreviate instead of eliminate because you can't eliminate everything. So I said, okay, well, you can at least abbreviate it. Condensing our time, I believe, is a skill that needs to be worked. Eventually, you'll plan, 3 to 5 steps ahead. I hate feeling like I'm not being efficient or effective. So learning how to delegate or abbreviate our have-tos so that when we're off, we can make our time useful. People, I've heard so many different excuses of random stuff, I don't know, y'all might be hating this, but people say, okay, let's go do something. I can't because I have kids. Okay, bring the kids. I like kids. I can't because I got to, do something with my wife. Bring your wife. Or either that, if you're not going to do that, you can at least hide your wife, hide your kids. That was a YouTube joke if y'all didn't catch that one. Yeah. Say, I can't because I got to take care of my dog. Bring your dog. I can't because I got to take care of my hedgehog. If you don't want to bring a hedgehog, it's low maintenance, so don't worry about it. It's cool. He sleeps all day anyway. I can't because I got to do schoolwork. Well, do your schoolwork when you're supposed to. Don't wait till you have, during, the time where you can do stuff. I can't because I'm tired. Then sleep at night. Don't watch Netflix all night. Unless you work third shift, then sleep during the day and play at night. Whatever. If it's raining, then figure out raining, inside activities. If you're injured, then you can do something else. This one time I bought a ukulele, brand new. I was like, oh, sweet, I'm playing this ukulele. Sliced my finger open. Heaven was there. So, and I was like, crap, now I can't play this cool ukulele. So what I did is I taped my fingers like that and learned how to play with 2 fingers instead of all 4 of them. So it's work around your injury. Hey, I just need some me time. Okay, that's cool. At least you're doing something productive. I'm not called to that. I can't help you with that one. That's just, if you're not called to having fun, I don't know. Whatever. I'm physically unable. Then go to the gym. I'm not interested in anything that you have to say. I'd rather watch my shows and I don't want to better myself. Then you're in the wrong church. That was a joke. Chill. So I got this next thing up here. Yep. So I picked this verse. It's at first, it sounds a little harsh, but if you look at it how I read it, it's kind of funny. So it says, you sluggard. And literally I read the entire verse just laughing because the Bible used sluggard. I was like, okay, can you pick a better word to insult me with there? Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer, no ruler, yet it stores provisions in the summer and gathers food at harvest. How long will you lie there, you sluggard? When will you get up from your sleep? If you know me, I have every right to speak on this verse. Because for my first few years when I became a Christian, I slept until 3 p.m. every day. Because I was like, well, there's nothing else better to do in life. I'm just going to sleep. There was a degree of, on Levi's couch. Literally, I know there's jokes that go around in this church about how lazy I am. But I'm not that way anymore. You may say, what qualifies you to speak on this message? You're 25 years old with no kids. You just spent 6 months in Peru. How are you qualified? Well, I'd say wasted wealth is still wasted no matter how much or little. I promise you, I know what it's like to just be absolutely lazy and just waste everything that you have. And I'm telling you that it took God sweating to change me. Now, when I was in Peru, Corey and I would wake up at 7 in the morning and go do something. We would go run or there's, I don't know if you saw him with Social Network, but I learned how to surf in Peru. And surf ministries is always one of my dreams to be a part of. So I'd spend time learning how to surf. So I spent that time learning how to surf. I know how to surf now, which is super fun. I highly recommend it to anybody who has that dream. And I got to meet a bunch of cool people, minister to a bunch of cool people. But literally every morning we would wake up at 7 in the morning to go put on our cold, wet wetsuits and get in the cold water, and you'd be shivering because it's overcast and the Pacific water is cold, and you get in the water and you're literally and the entire time, you're paddling, the waves are just smashing you, and you're like, this is stupid. I'm not trying to be out here. But you just practice, and then you catch a couple waves. You're like, man, I don't care how long I have to paddle. That was worth it. And then when you start meeting other people and they respect you and you can spread Jesus that way, it's even more worth it. So it's like, quit wasting your time like doing stupid stuff, like sleeping. If you got to sleep, sleep at night. Corey, I don't even know how he does it. He doesn't sleep. Self-motivation is the biggest battle. I get that taking care of everything, after taking care of everything, we're tired, but we have the opportunity to rest every day. What I'm talking about is being refreshed. Have you ever been on a vacation for a week or so, and you come back to work thinking like, where the heck did my vacation go? Being refreshed doesn't come from overeating, oversleeping, and overspending. We're refreshed by investing in those around us. We're refreshed by discovering something new about us. Or rediscovering something new about us, for that matter. And making memories that last forever. Cutting out unnecessary time spendings like your second cousin's three times removed that you don't care about graduation's party, where you won't even know a soul there. Cutting that out. Or, if they have good barbecue, then I say hit that jank and then you can dip. Bring some to-go trays with you. Spread the gospel while you're there. No, I'm totally joking. But what I'm saying is like, there's some stuff that you go do just because you're invited. You can say no. Like, and if you're gonna say no, don't just like go home and watch TV, like put that time to use. If you're going to say no to something, then take that time and put it to use. Otherwise, go to your whatever person's party. Oh, happy graduation, everybody that graduated. Sorry. So I got another verse up here. It's 2 Thessalonians 3:6. In the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, we command you, brothers and sisters, to keep away from every believer who is idle and disruptive and does not live according to the teachings you receive from us. Like, in addition to not being lazy yourselves, the Bible says, hey, don't be near a bunch of unproductive people, because production breeds production and laziness breeds laziness. You know what happens? You know what follows laziness? It usually leads to destructive behavior like gossip and like being involved with like a bunch of other dumb stuff that you don't want to be a part of. But if you surround yourself with a bunch of productive people who are going towards the same goal that you're going to, they're going to talk, a bunch of mess on you, and they're going to say, hey, you're being lame. Look at, I'm getting further over here. And you're going to be like, dang it, I need to go like work hard and like do cool stuff. So if you start losing friends after this message, you might be boring. You got to eliminate boring people in your life. So I'm closing here. James 1:17 says, every good and perfect gift comes from the Lord. Don't waste those gifts. Don't waste your free time. I wasn't going to wear this hat because my hair looked super good this morning, but I saw this hat and I was like, okay, I got to put it on. So it's like a subliminal message the entire time. But you wear, like I'm wearing this hat, it says explore more. This hat has been in orphanages in the jungle. It's been 18,000 feet high. It's been so many places. Like it's cool. Like if I take it off and you see the bottom, I don't know if you can like see that, but if I flip it, you see how faded that thing is? Like it's not the hat that's cool, it's what it represents. So I have this video up here that I want to show you.
These are roughly 28,835 jelly beans. I counted out 500 of them and used those to weigh the rest. In this pile, there's one jelly bean for each day that the average American will live. You might have more beans in your life, or maybe less, but on average, this is the time we have. Here's a single bean. It's your very first day. A special day, but kind of a rough day on everyone involved. Add 364 more and you have the first year of your life. Now, for a sense of scale, here are your first 15 years, 5,475 days, which brings us to the threshold of adulthood. And at that moment, this is the time that we have left. And this is, on average, what we will do with all that time. We will be asleep for a total of 8,477 days. If we're lucky, some of that time we'll be sleeping next to someone we love. We will be in the process of eating, drinking, or preparing food for 1,635 days. We'll be at work, hopefully doing something satisfying, for the equivalent of 3,202 of those days. 1,099 days will be spent commuting or traveling from one place to another, maybe a little bit more if you live in LA. On average, we will watch television in one form or another for a total of 2,676 days. Household activities, like chores and tending to our pets and shopping, will take another 1,576 days. And we will care for the needs and well-being of others, our friends and family, for 564 days. We'll spend 671 days bathing, grooming, and doing all other bathroom-related activities, and another 720 days will go to community activities like religious and civic duties, charities, and taking classes. After we remove all those beans, this is what remains. This is the time that we have left. Time for laughing, swimming, making art, going on hikes, text messages, reading, checking Facebook, playing softball, maybe even teaching yourself how to play the guitar. So what are you going to do with this time? How much of it do you think you've already used up? If you only had half of it, what would you do differently? What about half of that? How much time have you already spent worrying instead of doing something that you love? What if you just had one more day? What are you going to do today?
I love artist people, the way they speak. They're just like, yeah, you got to do this. And like, I'm an artist and I like talking like this. And I like painting. And I like to make music sometimes. And then I like other stuff. It's like, oh, can you be a little more energetic or something? But I mean, I really liked that video, even though the guy was kind of weird. But like, it kind of puts it in perspective, like how much time we are really wasting. Chuck like hit on this here to there thing last week, but this, you can see this is in like paper form. I actually brought this from Peru, and like that source is free to like people who want it, but I didn't have access to it in Peru, and I believe in this thing so much that I downloaded it off the internet. Then I went to the copier because they don't have copy machines. Like, they're just not everywhere. Like here in America, you have to go to a place to get your copies. And then you got to pay the person, and then they want to rip you off because you're white. So then, like, then they're like, oh, you want that in color? Okay, hold on. That's going to be another couple dollars. But it's like I believe in it, so I invested the money in it. I didn't really care about it, like about the money, because I believe in what it has to offer. What it does, it gives you a chance to dream. It gives you a chance to like push yourself forward. And I encourage every person to do that. But if you need a little kickstart, I did bring some. Hold on. Can y'all read that? Can you read that? Yeah, it's a goodie box. So it's not a goodie box because there's goodies in it. Well, there is goodies in it, but that's not why it's called a goodie box. It's a goodie box because this is stuff that I have seen from Goodwill. So some of this is not from Goodwill, some of it is, but I've seen most of it come out of Goodwill with my own eyes, and I've seen it like my friends buy it from Goodwill. How many of y'all know what this thing is? What is it? A ripstick. So it's a ripstick, and I can hear Kevin Huffer saying, "What'd you call me?" But it's a ripstick. So here's one. I know some of y'all ain't really trying to like do that, but super fun. 90s treasures right there. So skateboard. I've seen these at Goodwill. Well, not this particular one. This one was a gift from Jesse for my birthday. But Chris gave me a skateboard. So if you've never tried to skateboard, you can do that. I'm going to take out this obvious one. So this is a tennis racket, but guess what? It has a dual purpose. It can also be a badminton racket. But you can find these there. Do y'all know what this is? Yep, rock climbing shoes. Corey is the master at finding these in Goodwill. Like straight up, if you've never rock climbed, literally you can go find one at Goodwill and go try it. Rock climbing shoes. Also, there's a really great rock climbing gym in Charlottesville I might hit up today if you're trying to join. Hammer. So you can get tools from Goodwill. Let's see. A phone case. For those of you who want to go like hiking or whatever, or do something in the rain, and you don't want to get your phone wet, but you want to record stuff. So there's that. If you don't want to be in the rain, you can find musical instruments. Literally, I was there the other day, saw a set of 3 guitar amps selling for $50. I was like, for real? But it was somebody already got it. And then there was like a drum set. It was like a kid's drum set. But this is kind of like going back to what I was saying about investing in your kids. You can buy your kids a drum set and then learn how to play drums with your kids. You can also find outdoor games. Lawn games, always the funnest. I don't know if you can see that, but that's actually a paintbrush. Art supplies. Are y'all kind of getting what I'm getting at? So I wonder if y'all can guess what this is. You know what this is? Yeah, it's a top to a blender. So this is actually mine. We went to Goodwill. Jessica was like, "Dang, there's a blender." So I went and brought it to the cashier. I was like, "Hey, does this thing work?" She was like, "I don't know. We don't test electronics." I was like, "Okay." So I walked around the store and found an outlet and plugged it in, and it was like, brrr! Like the whole store looked at me, and I was like, I got to know if it works, you know? But then if you ain't trying to be active outside, indoor games. Here, there's a bunch of goodies in this box. Actually, golf ball. So when I went to Goodwill one time, I found this golf set for $7. Whole set. It had an extendo ball grabber thingy. I tell people when I go golfing, I go fishing as well. Go in the ponds and go fishing with that extendo thing. So, I wonder if y'all can guess where I'm going with this one. I'm just going to pretend I put those on. So, every time I'm in Goodwill, there's a pair of skis in there. I don't know, like why would you give up skis? I don't know. These are skateboard wheels. I was going to illustrate skateboarding, but I found that one and I didn't feel like taking these out. So, camera. Complete with a flash. There's one more thing in there. You can also find some sweet threads. You won't find those are exclusive. But what I'm getting at is the challenge here is if you want to go do something fun and interesting with your family, everybody just head on over to Goodwill. Walk in there, kind of piddle around. You'll find something that catches your eye. Go take your family, do something literally $1 or $2 maybe. Literally, you can find these. How much is this, Sheem? $5. A few bucks. few bucks. Literally, I bought this at Goodwill, $3. Went to Walmart, bought the tennis balls. I was like, hey, Corey, you want to go play tennis? He was like, sure. So we went to the tennis court. I was wearing flip-flops or something. I burnt my feet, had blisters on the bottom of it. But I'm saying the point is if you want to do something, but you don't know what to do, I'm giving you a start with that today. It's 11:22. I'm done. Worship team, y'all can come up. I hope this was good for you guys. I know it's kind of a hard message-ish. I didn't mean it for it to be that way. All I'm saying is we can do something with our free time. Go do something. Go show the world whose child you are. I'm just saying, if you take time to assess your life, rate it, and say, okay, I'm right here. I need to be up here. I need to go up to 10. I need to go up to 11. How are you going to do that? Take the time. Do this here or there book. Create your goals and aspirations and your dreams. Grab something from left field. You're like, hey, I don't know if I'd ever be interested in that, but maybe I could do something like that and get into a cool circle. And then beyond that, how am I going to have all this time to do stuff? Start abbreviating your time, condensing the stuff that you have to's, and mixing your family, mixing your dog, your hedgehog, all that stuff with stuff that you want to do. And create interest so that that whatever group you're in, we can all do it together and have fun. But God, thank you so much for this day. It's so beautiful outside. I'm peeking through the doors back there. God, I just pray that you would give us the opportunity today to go do something great, God. Lord, to go make a memory with our family, to go invest in somebody, God. Even spread the gospel. Maybe somebody wants to go hiking today and they go just to humpback or something and they meet somebody on that trail. And then they spread the gospel. That's another soul to the kingdom. Or maybe they go to Goodwill and find a Frisbee golf disc and they go to Stanton Frisbee Golf and they meet somebody on that course. And spread the gospel, God. Lord, you enrich our lives so that we can help others to enrich their lives, God. Lord, you've given us a wonderful and perfect gift, God, so that we can share it with others. Jeremiah 29:11 says, you know the plans that you have for us, God. Plans to prosper us and not to harm us. Plans to give us a hope and a future, God. What you're saying is, I want you to go up. I want to give you the best life that you could ever imagine, further beyond what you could imagine. I want to make every area of your life go up so that when people see you, they say, how did they go from here to there? That they say, I can never do that in my wildest dreams. And then you say,